Goodness gracious me, good afternoon. It's been a very full day. I've had a wonderful day today, starting off with swimming at the Fleurieu Aquatic Centre. And it's a gorgeous space, and was able to spend some time there first thing this morning before heading off for a lovely catch-up lunch with my best friend from school days. Has been a great day, and I've only just arrived home about half an hour ago. So I'm Ros Boundy here for Boomer Press, one of the entities that I represent. It's only 3 or 2 or whatever, a solopreneur with heart, bringing you what I love doing, which is now, like, the interests do change over years sometimes. And now that I'm coming towards that is my more mature twilight years, it's not quite the twilight. I've got a lot of years to live yet, but what I'm wanting to do is definitely get into writing, and writing my story maybe as memoir, or just writing novels, poetry, whatever I feel like, because I love the sound. Well, it's the words, it's being able to read them, it's being able to write them in different ways. And it's so much fun when you actually start to get into learning the craft of writing. Oh, the possibilities. It really is immense. And every single one of us does have a story that we'd like to tell, even if you don't know it yet. Anyway, I'm here because of the Boomer Press and wanting to help others to get their mojo happening as far as writing stories, writing things down before you actually start to forget, because I don't want you to leave it too late. I don't want you to leave it until it is too late, like I have been, because we didn't complete getting mum and dad's stories as we would have wanted to, and I do regret that. So I'm wanting to write down what I can of my own story as much as I can. Look, whether the kids are interested in it or not, or the grandkids, do you know what? I don't care. I'm having an absolute ball going through the process of remembering, of writing, of really sharing my story in whatever ways I can, because every day in regular conversation we are sharing our story in some minute little way. One of the things that comes to mind was with the swimming this morning. There's a group of friends, because it is 3 of us that are swimming together on the regular mornings. And you'll have to excuse the dog sounds. There's 2 dogs here now and a cat in the bedroom. So the barking is going to happen. So they're gorgeous little doggies. And I'm starting to feel very hot. This room got quite hot. I've got the air conditioner on now. It is warm. So we do converse. We chat. We share our stories. You know, it's just sharing everyday stories about what happened, you know, with our partner or an ex or something like that. That's what happened this morning. There was some sharing of some of those little tidbits of stories. It's all relevant, and you know, it's all important, because it's something that we each experienced in our own unique way. No one else is going to know about it unless we tell them. So we do share in that way as part of our regular conversation. Look, some of it probably isn't going to be anywhere near interesting at all. Some of it definitely is, and you can relate to it being very similar to what you yourself might have experienced when you start to hear other people's stories. And I'm just going to put the Boomer Press website here, boomerpress. Whoops, I've got to spell it right, online, and you can have a look at that if you want to whilst we're chatting or not. Doesn't matter. I haven't forgotten it. And some of those stories that when we're sharing with friends definitely does bring in that little experience of reminiscing and turning back the clock in your mind at times to feel again that you experienced as someone else is relating their story. And it can bring back lovely warm feelings from the heart of what you yourself have moved through in your life experiences. Yes, some of them are pretty like we've all gone through the ups and downs of life, of whatever experiences that is. And some of them really can be that type of a learning curve for others to learn from our experiences as well. For those who've had a more traumatic life, I suppose, is what I'm bringing forward, or some sort of, health mountain that they've climbed, that they've gotten over, that's going to help someone else. It can be the stories of, domestic violence is one that does come to mind a lot. I know that I've read a couple of stories of people going through those experiences, and it has helped others to read of those similar experiences, gives them courage to move out of similar situations. There's very many reasons why we want to, that we could write stories, that we want to write stories. Is it important enough to really write the story, is the question going through a lot of minds. Feel for you that it was important for you, it might be for someone else. And stories can help others to heal and progress through what they may be going through, that they thought they were alone, but yet they're not. Okay, that's where that all came from, is because it was such a wonderful experience to go back and chat over lunch. That was just the swimming episode, and over lunch going back through some of the times of our shared experiences. A wonderful girlfriend who I've had since school years. To this day we still get together, not frequently enough, but we do still catch up, and it's as if there's not been any time gone between. That's how close the knowing each other is without being in each other's pockets type. And it's just been that shared experience over the years of being able to chat and share our stories and understand each other because of that. So, whether it's been sharing our children's woes, or, the experiences with partners, and sometimes the travelling experiences, what worked for her, how can I gather some tips, or what worked for me, how could she gather some tips. Not that I've travelled extensively, but I've done a couple of overseas trips now. Planning maybe on another one next year. We'll see yet what shows up for that one. Look, it's wonderful to get together with friends, and that's how I feel at times with what we can share in the written word as books. And these days, being the technology we've got, how we can share that in ebooks as well, or audio books. There's the three different main varieties of how we share our books. Or it could be like this, a video of someone reading out their own story, so that can be shared. So what's that called? Vlog, the video, podcast, whatever things. There's so many different ways we can share with others, so that we can gain greater understanding of each other, I think, and that we aren't alone. We definitely aren't alone. So I'm going to pop back to what are the methods that I've been using for the Monday and Thursdays. It definitely has been this little deck of cards. Sorry, swinging it the wrong way. I'll put it down again, because what we'll do is share the next 3 cards that I've been using as the deck. I should actually turn on the other deck. Here we go. There, the table, and bring it into view. So here we've got it. This has been how we've been doing it. So there's that lovely, for those who have been here the first time, in the end we'll all become stories. And it is a wonderful way to share our story with family, friends, and just the general public. Excuse me. It doesn't have to be people you know. It can be complete strangers might be extremely interested in what is your story once it's put together as your memories, and what could be helpful for someone else. Even though this deck is called Life Story, I've got a dog at the door that wants to get out, but you can stay here for the moment. Right, here we go. This is the 3 there's the 3 colours. This is the amount that we've gone through already. Okay, so we've got the early life. I'll place those out. Get ready with your notebook and your pen to write them down, or you can take a screenshot. Okay, I'm not sure why it's not quite a wide screen anymore. I think I must have hit the wrong button or something. And there we go. There's the third one. Let's just put that there. It doesn't have to be the full card in the view. And I might just need to go down and shift that a little bit. There we go. So from here, what we've got with this particular set of cards, it is the early life card. We have the midlife card and the later life and reflection, and it is just a whole heap in this whole box. It's whatever number cards. I don't know that I've actually read how many's in it. It could be 150, I don't know. We're just going through them one from each until we get to the bottom of whichever pile first, and then we'll go whatever's left. So from writing down what in the early life question we're going to use today, it is, what hobbies and interests did you have during your teenage years? Needless to say, what I would have to mention here is it was reading. I was immensely interested in reading. I was a prolific reader, and I loved going out into the paddocks on the motorbike just to veg out. That was how I used to do it. You'd just get on the bike and off you'd go into one of the paddocks. So the hobbies, look, I probably did have the skills at, I think Mum had taught us knitting and crochet, so I did do some of that as far as those hand skills. I had been trying to do some sewing skills, as in embroideries, and the long stitch, short stitch and all those other fancy stitches. I probably did do those over time. Cross stitch might have been another one, but it was mainly reading. I really did enjoy taking myself into other worlds as far as what a book would let me explore. The genre more than likely that I enjoyed most was the science fiction and fantasy worlds. I wasn't so much into romances back then. It wasn't my field. I loved the magic. I loved that was the ghosty paranormal type of thing. So I think that was a precursor to, well, actually showing me that I had a few interests in the esoteric that were going to grow many years later and develop into the psychic mediumship I do now. So that's the hobbies and interests that I would have had when I was a young'un. What are yours? You can put them in the comments later if you'd like, and I'll definitely go back and respond to anything that's put into the comment stream, because it's so lovely to interact with people, find out more about each other. That isn't that part of the purpose of sharing our information. And it's also to gather together for ourselves our own thoughts. What was your early years, early life? Now we're going to look at what is, when did you move in together? Now this midlife, some of the ways that these questions are just blunt and put there, in midlife you more or less probably, it is the assumption that there is going to be partnering of some sort with couples in whatever way they are these days. It doesn't matter, but the question we're posed with this as a midlife is, when did you move in together? Well, for myself and my husband, that was a particular year was 1976, and that was a year. What more can you actually describe with that memory for you? How did you feel? I mean, I really would expand on that just to say, what sort of influence did that have in moving in with your partner? That life experience that is a life-changing experience, because you are then sharing with another in more intimate ways. Not saying that it has to be as, a sexual relationship or anything, but it is a connecting and living in a same space, a similar, the shared space that's going to influence each other in how you do things, in how you grow together and know each other together. in whatever way that means for when did you move in together, or what was the purpose. Because I already have a granddaughter who's just started to share rent, share house, one of those types of situations as a starter in adult life. Different purpose with that one. It's not moving in together with someone else on intimate basis. It's moving in together as a shared life experience because of housing needs and the different ways that that can happen as well. So very interesting question. I mean, it just seems like a very small one, but what are you going to be able to expand on that for what you can share as part of a book possibly, but at the moment we're still just remembering things with this particular life story kit. We haven't started on the getting everything together and moving it into what could be a book. We'll get to that stage at some point later on. Nothing is in the urgent category at all. Take your time and do these questions as you make time for it, as you get to it, as you have a spare moment. Or you can do them straight away tonight. Look, it doesn't matter. Later life and reflection, this does sometimes give us a little bit more to work with. So the question today is, what do you enjoy most about being retired? Now, this is assuming a big assumption, and we know what the assume is, isn't it? Anyway, makes an ass out of you, basically. What do you... or something like that. Someone might correct me with that one. Write it in the comments. I'll come back to it. What do you enjoy most about being retired, or being able to choose more in how you are doing what you do in the more mature years? It doesn't have to be that you are retired. You could still be working because you love it, because you enjoy what you do, because you're starting to build a business like I'm doing. I'm not retiring. I'm having fun. Am I going to build it in a mega conglomerate, big build business or anything? No. I want to grow what is the community of people interested in writing. Have a look at Burma Press online. Look, I haven't got many resources there yet, but it's going to grow. That's what I'm wanting to create, is build up something that will give an interest for those who may be retired to write their stories and really share what are interesting snippets from lives well lived. Because I do believe the majority of us have that many different, we all have a different story to tell, but it's that many different snippets of info that are around similar types of experiences, but can have just so much, opening of awareness for each other to know, oh, so you experienced that too. Oh, well, I had it similar, but, and sharing. And it really is that sharing together, the energetics of communication that really brings us to that level of, well, it sets off some dopamine, doesn't it? And those feel-good fuzzies. I love it. It really does bring a joy into life with sharing with those that are friends, loved ones, but people also who you have absolutely no idea who they are, but sharing their stories that are so similar. I think it's a wonderful way to get together, is by the words on a page. Reading more of how someone is writing to help us understand their story helps us to understand a little more of our own too in many instances. So what do you enjoy about most being retired could give some hints to others of what you yourself, if you are retired, what you yourself found is the most difficult, how you circumvented or got over that hump of retirement, of living together. I've heard of couples having good old barneys because they're in each other's pocket after work life finishes and they've never done it before, been together so constantly and getting on each other's nerves. It's how do you get past that? That could be some really good tips and hints around what you can do to move past those, wow, this really is almost a amazingly different lifestyle change that's going to happen if you're moving into doing that retirement thing, or that you've been in it for a long time and you've got some good ways of finding that shared entertainment time, of finding those individual times that you might not be wanting to share, but having your own experience still as two people within a relationship, a marriage, a couple, a long-term situation. We can become too familiar with each other and need to have that time apart still, but being able to manage it in ways and sharing those stories together would be a really good way to find out what might suit you or what might not. Tips and hints, all of those practical aspects of retirement. So that's what we can garner from these questions today, in whatever way that you can share that. No, wrong button. This is the one I wanted, is that one. And then to turn off that one, that's the other button. There we go, back to just me. So all of those things that we can bring together, have it come from your memory first, and then the next step could be asking your siblings about a particular story that you remember in a particular way, and they have a totally different memory of how it happened. That might be, oh, I didn't realise that part of it. And they might be able to share their story with you, and it brings a fullness to that family experience that might be a major part of what you want to put in a book and continue the story. So there's so many different ways of being able to do and share all of those bits and pieces. So next year I'm building a community option-based type thing within the Burma Press. So look for it for next year, that we can bring in what you might be wanting to share as far as those hints and tips and the rest with other potential authors, or just you are a normal person having a story that you want to share, and we're coming together to not figure out, because I do know some of the ways that you can start to write. I'm sharing some of them. There will be more, and really gather together as what ways we can write. What type of things do you want to write? Are you wanting to write poetry and that sort of stuff? Look, we'll see what the future brings us with that one. So keep an eye out for that. And certainly go to the Burma Press online. I have got a link if you're wanting to set up a time with me, but I have a funny feeling I didn't copy it properly. Didn't copy it this morning after I'd done it. No, I didn't. It'll have to be the next session. I'll put the link in the chat when I find it later as well. So there we go. I think that's about all that I have to share with you today for this session. It is the Burma Press book Nook, and I'll next be online here for you with Burma Press. That will be Sunday evening at 7:30. So you can put that in your diaries. I think the event is already in the 5 Foot Rope TV. I will share it into my other social media places and spaces as soon as I remember, because that's one place I'll not that flash on this. And hi Kenneth, lovely to see you all the way from Ontario in Canada. It's lovely to be global. Thank you so much for popping in. I'm just finishing, Kenneth, so unfortunately this is the Burma Press session that I do. You may start to become familiar with the pattern and process that I'm developing here as far as the different entities. It's lovely to see you when you are in on the Psychic Medium, the Ros Boundy Psychic Medium one too. It's lovely to see you then. So for now, thank you for being here. And look, the next one is, yes, I mentioned it Sunday. It is also Monday 5:30 and Thursday 5:30. Next week I am anticipating that I will be online live at those session times, but it just does depend a little bit. I do roll with the flow of what life brings. It's not always planned, so as much as I can be here, I will be. I'll put a note in, otherwise it will be an uploaded video, and we'll see what happens. It is Christmas week next week, so For all of those who are ultra busy and I won't see you until afterwards, have a wonderful Christmas day and celebrating the holidays in whatever way you do. And I'll see you when I see you next. So thank you for being here, and I always finish anything I do with a namaste. Thank you. The dog's agreeing. Bye for now.